Have you ever noticed that the people who smile the brightest are often the ones carrying the heaviest weight? Think about that one person in your life, the friend who's always laughing, always checking in on everyone else, always doing fine. From the outside, they seem put together, unshaken, strong. But what you don't see, Lawing, is what happens when they're alone. Because pain doesn't always look like tears. It doesn't always break loudly. Sometimes it learns how to stay quiet just to survive. We've been taught to recognize trauma by what's visible. But the truth is, the deepest wounds are often hidden behind the warmest smiles. The ones who hold everything together for others are often the ones falling apart in silence. What most people don't realize is this: trauma isn't just something that happened to you. It's something that changes you, especially your brain. When someone goes through prolonged stress, neglect, or emotional pain, the brain doesn't just remember it, it adapts. Through a process tied to nervous system regulation, the body learns to stay on alert, because at some point it had to. This is where survival patterns begin. Instead of feeling safe, the brain shifts into protection mode, cycling through responses like fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. Over time, these responses stop being temporary reactions and start becoming personality. That's why someone might become hyper-aware of others, overly independent, or constantly anxious without knowing why. And for many, this wiring starts early, growing up in environments where love was inconsistent, emotions were ignored, or safety was unpredictable. So the brain makes a quiet decision. If I stay prepared, I stay safe. You're not broken. You were trained to survive in a world that didn't always feel safe. Now here's where it gets subtle. Because the people who have been through too much don't always look like they're struggling. Their patterns are internal. The first is hyper-independence. They don't ask for help, not because they're strong, but because somewhere in their past, needing someone came with disappointment. So they carry everything alone, even when it's too heavy. Not weakness, protection. The second is over-apologizing. I'm sorry becomes a reflex for things that aren't their fault, for existing too loudly, or sometimes just existing at all. This comes from learning that keeping others comfortable was the safest way to avoid conflict, not insecurity, survival. And then there's emotional disconnection, moments where they suddenly feel nothing. Numb, distant, like they've stepped outside of their own life, watching it instead of living it. This is the mind's way of shutting down when it's overwhelmed, flipping a switch to avoid overload, not coldness, self-preservation. These patterns aren't random, they are strategies, quiet, invisible ways the brain learned to keep someone safe when nothing else did. But here's the part most people miss. Pain doesn't just break people, sometimes it refines them. You'll often notice it in their empathy. They can read a room in seconds, tone shifts, micro expressions, unspoken tension, because at some point they had to. Their awareness was once a survival skill, and over time it became compassion. They don't just hear you, they feel you. But that depth comes with a cost. They give more than they receive. Then there's high-functioning anxiety. They are the planners, the ones who think 3 steps ahead, who prepare for every possible outcome. To others, it looks like reliability, but underneath, it's a quiet fear of chaos, because unpredictability once meant pain. And finally, the peacemaker. They avoid conflict, smooth things over, keep everyone comfortable, not because they're passive, but because conflict once felt dangerous. Their kindness isn't weakness, it's survival refined into something beautiful and often exhausting. But this kind of strength comes with a quiet cost, especially in how they see themselves and how they love. In relationships, they often give more than they receive. They become the listener, the fixer, the one who stays, even when it hurts. And without realizing it, they may find themselves drawn to people who are distant, unavailable, or hard to reach. Because somewhere deep down, love feels familiar only when it has to be earned. At the same time, receiving love feels uncomfortable. Compliments are brushed off. Kindness feels suspicious. There's always a quiet voice asking, "What's the catch?" Not because they don't want love, but because they don't fully trust it. And beneath it all is a fragile self-image, a constant tension between I'm too much and I'm not enough. So they shrink parts of themselves to keep people close or push people away before they can be hurt. Well, they don't struggle with love. They struggle with believing they're safe inside it. Healing doesn't start with becoming someone new. It starts with learning something that, may feel unfamiliar, how to feel safe again. Because the truth is, you were never broken. You were trained to survive. And those patterns, the independence, the overthinking, the emotional walls, they once protected you. But you don't have to carry them the same way forever. Healing can look small. Letting someone help you, just a little. Pausing before you say, "I'm sorry," when you've done nothing wrong. Allowing yourself to stay present instead of shutting down. Safety isn't something you force. It's something you slowly allow. And if you saw yourself in this video, I want you to know you're not alone in this. So tell me in the comments, which sign resonated with you the most? And if this helped you understand yourself a little better, don't forget to subscribe for more psychology insights that actually make you feel seen.